എല്ലാവർക്കും ഇന്നത്തെ ഈ ഫംഗ്ഷനിലോട്ട് സ്വാഗതമായി സ്വാഗതം പറയുന്നു. ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട വൈസ് ചാൻസലർ APJ അബ്ദുൽ കലാം യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി ടെക്നോളജിക്കൽ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയുടെ വൈസ് ചാൻസലറായ ശ്രീമതി ഡോക്ടർ രാജശ്രീ, വിശിഷ്ടാതിഥികൾ, എല്ലാവർക്കും സ്വാഗതം പറഞ്ഞുകൊള്ളുന്നു. ഈ ഫംഗ്ഷൻ നമ്മൾ ഉദ്ദേശിച്ച രീതിയിൽ അല്ല തുടങ്ങിയത്. മന്ത്രിയുടെ സാന്നിധ്യം കുറച്ച് വൈകിയായതുകൊണ്ട് ഈ രീതിയിൽ ക്രമീകരിച്ചിരിക്കുകയാണ് ഇപ്പോൾ ഈ പരിപാടി. എങ്കിലും എല്ലാവരും അതിന് സഹകരിച്ചതിന് നന്ദി. ഞാൻ രാജശ്രീ മാഡത്തിന് സ്വാഗതം പറയുന്നു. ഈ പരിപാടിയിൽ പങ്കെടുക്കുന്ന എല്ലാവർക്കും, ലൈവ് സ്ട്രീമിലൂടെ ഈ പരിപാടിയിൽ എത്തിക്കുന്ന എല്ലാവർക്കും സ്വാഗതം പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ സ്വീകരിക്കുന്നു. ഇൻകേടെക്കിൻ്റെ മാനേജിംഗ് ഡയറക്ടർ എന്ന നിലയ്ക്ക് ഞാൻ ഇതുപോലത്തെ ഒരു അവസരം ഒരുപാട് നാളായി കാത്തിരുന്നൊരു അവസരം തന്നെയാണ്. അതിന് സാധ്യമാക്കാൻ KSIDCയുടെ ഈ ഒരു ഇനിഷ്യേറ്റീവ് DeXO എന്ന പേരിൽ ഇത് സജസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്ത ഇൻകേടെക്കിൻ്റെ ഒരു 10 വർഷമായിട്ടുള്ള പ്രവർത്തനത്തിൻ്റെ ഫലമായിട്ടാണെങ്കിൽ പോലും ഇത് KTU അതായത് APJ അബ്ദുൽ കലാം ടെക്നോളജിക്കൽ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി KTU ഈ ഒരു ആശയം എങ്ങനെയാണ് DeXO എന്നൊരു പേരിൽ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രി ഇൻസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂട്ട് കണക്റ്റ് പ്രോഗ്രാമായി വിഭാവന ചെയ്യുകയും ഒരു വർഷത്തിലേറെ ഇതിനു വേണ്ടി പരിശ്രമിച്ചു. അപ്പോൾ അത് ഒരു ഗവൺമെൻറ് ഓഫ് കേരള അഥവാ KSIDCയുടെ ഒരു ഇനിഷ്യേറ്റീവായി ഇത് ലോഞ്ച് ചെയ്യാൻ സാധിച്ചതിൽ KSIDC നേതൃത്വം ശ്രീ രാജമാണിക്യം സാർ ഇപ്പോൾ ഏതാനും നിമിഷത്തിൽ സാർ ഇവിടെ വരുന്നതായിരിക്കും മന്ത്രിയോടൊപ്പം. അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് ആദ്യം നന്ദി പറയുന്നു ഈ ഒരു ഇത് സാധിച്ചതിന്. അപ്പോൾ ഒരു KSIDC ഇനിഷ്യേറ്റീവ് ആയിട്ടാണ് ഈ DeXO ഇനിഷ്യേറ്റീവ്, ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ഇൻഡസ്ട്രി അക്കാഡമിയ കണക്ട് പ്രോഗ്രാം ഇൻ ഡിസൈൻ എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ്, അത് വിഭാവന ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ അതിൽ KTU എന്നൊരു യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി 145 എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് കോളേജുകൾ അഫിലിയേറ്റഡ് ആയിട്ടുണ്ട് KTUവിൽ. ഈ ഇത്രയും എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് കോളേജിൽ ഡിസൈൻ എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് എന്നുള്ള ഒരു മേഖല അത് ഇൻഡസ്ട്രി ആയിട്ട് കോർത്തിണക്കിക്കൊണ്ട് ഇത് ഇംപ്ലിമെൻ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിൽ, സോ ദാറ്റ് all the engineering students passing out of university in 4 years' time after a BTech degree will be self-reliant to be employable anywhere. അപ്പോൾ ഇത് പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് ഡെവലപ്മെൻറ്റ് എന്നുള്ള ഒരു മേഖലയിൽ കേന്ദ്രീകരിച്ചുകൊണ്ടാണിത്. അപ്പോൾ അതിന് ഡിസൈൻ, അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെയാണ് ഈ പേര് DeXO എന്നുള്ളൊരു പേര് ഡിസൈൻ എഞ്ചിനീയറിങ്ങിൻ്റെതായതുകൊണ്ട് വരികയും ഇതിൽ ഒരുപാട് അസോസിയേറ്റ്സ് വന്നു ചേരാവുന്ന ഒരു പ്രോഗ്രാം കൂടിയാണ്. അതായത് സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പുകൾ, പ്രധാനമായും കേരളത്തിന് സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പിൻ്റെ ഇത് വളരെയധികം ശക്തമായിട്ട് ഇപ്പം മുന്നോട്ട് വരുന്ന സമയത്ത്, അതും കേരള സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പ് മിഷൻ വളരെ റിമാർക്കബിൾ ഒരു ഫീറ്റ് നടത്തി ഈ കഴിഞ്ഞ വർഷങ്ങളിൽ. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ ഇത് ഒരുപക്ഷെ ആദ്യം എത്തുന്നത് ഇൻഡസ്ട്രി എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ ആ സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പുകളിൽ തന്നെയാവും. അപ്പോൾ ഈ ഒരു സിറ്റുവേഷന് എൻജിനീയറിംഗ് കോളേജുകളിൽ എങ്ങനെ ഈ പദ്ധതി നടപ്പിലാക്കാം എന്നുള്ളതിൻ്റെ എന്നുള്ളതിന് നാന്ദി കുറിക്കുന്ന ഒരു സംരംഭമായിരിക്കും ഈ DeXO. ഇതുപോലെ നിരവധി പ്രോഗ്രാംസ് നടത്തിക്കാൻ പറ്റും. അപ്പോൾ അതിൽ KSIDCയുടെയും KTUവിൻ്റെയും സംയുക്തമായതിൽ ഇൻകേടെക്കിന് ഇത് പങ്കുചേരാൻ പറ്റിയതിൽ അതിഭാഗ്യം തന്നെയാണ്. ഇൻകേടെക്കിൻ്റെ ബാക്ക്ഗ്രൗണ്ടിൽ ഒരു അക്രഡിറ്റേഷൻ എന്ന് പറയാവുന്നത് ഈ പറയുന്ന സ്കിൽ ഡെവലപ്മെൻറ്റ് മേഖലയിൽ NSDC നാഷണൽ സ്കിൽ ഡെവലപ്മെൻറ്റ് കോർപ്പറേഷൻ്റെ ഭാഗമായുള്ള ഓട്ടോമോട്ടീവ് സ്കിൽ ഡെവലപ്മെൻറ്റ് കോർപ്പറേഷൻ, ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ASDC, വിച്ച് കംസ് അണ്ടർ ദാറ്റ് NSDC സ്കീം. സോ അവരുടെ അക്രഡിറ്റേഷൻ. പിന്നീട് ടെക്നിക്കൽ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസത്തിൽ AICTE ഓൾ ഇന്ത്യ കൗൺസിൽ ഓഫ് ടെക്നിക്കൽ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ്റെ അക്രഡിറ്റേഷൻ ആസ് SKP സ്കിൽ നോളജ് പ്രൊവൈഡർ. അപ്പോൾ AICTE SKP എന്നുള്ളത് എല്ലാ ടെക്നോളജിക്കൽ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയിലും ഈ ഒരു സംരംഭം നടത്താനുള്ളൊരു സ്വാതന്ത്ര്യം കൂടിയാണ്. അപ്പോൾ അത് KTU ആണ് ആദ്യം ഇനിഷ്യേറ്റീവ് എടുത്തിരിക്കുന്നത്. വൺ ഓഫ് ദ യങ്ങസ്റ്റ് യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റീസ് ഇൻ ഇന്ത്യ, just 6 years old since 2015. So KTU has taken this lead. അപ്പോൾ ഇതൊരു നല്ലൊരു തുടക്കം രാജ്യത്തിൻ്റെ എല്ലാ ഭാഗത്തും എത്താനുള്ളൊരു കേന്ദ്ര ഗവൺമെൻറ്റിൻ്റെ ഈ പറയുന്ന സ്കീംസ് കൂടെ വരുമ്പോൾ സോ തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും അത് സാധിക്കും. അതിൽ ഇന്നിപ്പോൾ ഇതൊരു ചരിത്രപരമായ ഒരു തുടക്കം തന്നെയാണ്. അതിന് സഹായമൊരുക്കി എല്ലാവർക്കും ഒരിക്കൽ കൂടെ നന്ദി പറയുന്നു. സ്വാഗതം. എൻ്റെ ഈ ദൗത്യം ഇവിടെ ഞാൻ നിർത്തുന്നു. അത് കഴിഞ്ഞ് ഫർദർ ഇതിൻ്റെ ഡീറ്റെയിൽഡ് പ്ലാൻസും ഇതിൻ്റെ ഒരു വിഭാവന എന്താണെന്ന് പറയാൻ ഞാൻ എല്ലാവരോടും സംവദിക്കാൻ ഞാൻ ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട വൈസ് ചാൻസലർ ഡോക്ടർ രാജശ്രീ മാഡത്തിനെ ക്ഷണിച്ചുകൊള്ളുന്നു. നന്ദി.
എല്ലാവർക്കും നമസ്കാരം. താങ്ക് യു. എല്ലാവർക്കും നമസ്കാരം. ശ്രീ ഗോപികൃഷ്ണൻ, Digital University Vice Chancellor Professor Saji Gopinath, other distinguished academicians, experts from industry, my colleagues from KTU, ladies and gentlemen, students. So it is a great honor for me to be part of this function when KSIDC is coming up with such a platform which is able to connect industry and academia, and also curating skills for students to become industry ready. We speak about industry academia connect, we speak a lot about it, but academia is always with the preset curriculum, courses, examinations, and the very dreadful academic calendar where each day, every hour matters. But on top of all that, there is something which is lacking, which is one place or a platform which is able to bring all these entities together and work meaningfully. That is what is being realized through this effort from iNCAETEK and KSIDC. So this will definitely be a beginning for students to be part of this platform and see how they can build their skills in such a way that the design engineering fundamentals are learned in a hands-on way. So engineering is about designing products and solutions. When we speak about products and also when we speak about solutions, the general idea is to look at what is the need, what is the requirement. And we develop features and we teach students to develop features in products and solutions to meet the requirements of customers, whatever be the product. But something which is very important here is the internal attribute of that product or solution, which we would like to call as the design or architecture. We give different terms to it, but that is very significant, and that is something which addresses the non-functional requirements of the products. Like if a design has, if we say that a design has longer life, what does it mean? It is able to evolve with respect to the new features, with respect to the new demands like scalability or any adaptability of being able to evolve with changing requirements, how easily you can bring that in. All these can be attributed as inherent qualities of a design. Design engineering is all about this, and now we speak about design thinking also. It has become a buzzword, and we have courses, we have practices and everything on design thinking. But in the coming to the academics, how well are we able to bring these guiding principles of design to students who are actually doing hands-on through their mini projects, through their final year projects and the products that they make, and at the time of evaluating these products, how what are the details, how are we paying attention to these attributes to sensitize them on these qualities. So this is something which we need to think about, and this kind of initiatives where the real life designers and practitioners are able to get in touch with students, and where students are able to learn state of the art tools and techniques for design, will be definitely different from this perspective. And that is what is exactly being envisaged through this platform. And let us hope that this is going to be a very special initiative which will be triggering many such initiatives. We can think of many other specialized companies and agencies coming in and hooking onto this platform, providing their platform for skilling students. I'm wishing that this will be a very successful initiatives if practitioners are able to understand the potential of it. See, when we think of a digital platform, it is like, it's not like a few people talking, being part of a conference or something deliberating, but there is something really happening out there which is capable of bringing virtually people from all over the world onto this platform, and it is able to showcase the needs. The customers can be, the potential users of products and services can be members of this platform. Then the students and practitioners who are able to solve the problems of customers can be part of this platform. And if there is a gap identified in skilling people to address specific vertical requirements, then those contents, the learning management systems can be part of this platform, and it becomes a very, very hybrid kind of platform, providing all the needed services for making designs happen. So this is the perspective that the university sees in this platform. And one should be able to understand clearly what are the promises this is able to give and how it can scale in terms of the need of the community. If we look at the customers, it can be government, it can be society, it can be businesses. You can list any number of customers as potential users of the products and solutions coming from this platform. So I would request the team to put it in a very generic sense, and the state is already with this initiative of knowledge economy mission, which is putting such a platform for skilling people, which is viewed as a hierarchy of platforms. You can have an aggregation of platforms, which itself becomes a platform. Any such number of at any granularity we can think of this architecture, and if its potential is realized fully by the practitioners and the academia, this is going to be a breakthrough initiative. So I've been knowing Gopi Krishnan for more than 2 years now, and it was very nice interacting with him. The passion with which he sees design engineering and his passion to make students skill with the right kind of skills. Being an engineering graduate from this state itself, he knows what is there to offer from the campuses and what should be offered to the students, and what are the worldwide opportunities available for our students from the campuses. Everything is being well studied, and this itself is a design thinking approach to solving a major problem that we are facing, I should say. So I congratulate iNCAETEK for this initiative, and I wish Gopi Krishnan and his team good luck, not only for addressing the needs of a specific segment of design or several of them, but also making several practitioners and industry specialists join him to emulate this initiative and create much more such platforms in the state of Kerala. So we from the academia, we have serious limitations in bringing up everything in the universities and colleges, but we should think of developing such ecosystems, and we can only be acting as channels, creating the right kind of path for students to be part of this through several means within the constraints we have, and respecting all the restrictions put forth by this regulations and several other factors. But knowledge creation and practicing of knowledge for applications, it doesn't have any boundary. Then that is where the space is open for us when such initiatives are there, and I'm hoping that this is really going to be a breakthrough initiative. As far as the industries department is concerned, there are several organizations, several companies and several types of organizations associated with the department with different kinds of problems and requiring different kinds of startups, not only in terms of workforce, but also in terms of creating startups for innovating and solving problems native to them, which they themselves are not capable of solving. How can all these be brought to this platform in some way or other, and then connect to the community around and realize? Thus, Kerala State Industrial Development Corporation, I'm sure, will be able to develop in a very different way, having this kind of an ecosystem established. So let us define a new kind of development for the corporation itself. Since there are many officers from the Industrial Development Corporation looking at several activities, it is not only funding them and then assessing if the funds are being utilized properly, but it is funding and mentoring in the various ways which can bring in such initiatives, and bringing together communities, knowledge communities, and people who are able to interact and make new models for development of industry, making new models for academia, because the knowledge, if the skills needs to be curated in very different ways, there is something definitely wrong with the academics and research in the universities. How do we go back and correct those, and then again come back with more rigor and corrections in the curriculum, in the pedagogical practices, in the evaluation schemes, in the assessment, thus fulfilling the needs of knowledge creation. I wish good luck to these initiatives, and we are always open to such initiatives where I see that Kerala Technological University has a very significant role to play. We are spread across the state in 145 colleges with around 1.25 lakh students and 16,000 faculty members, around more than 35 programs in the undergraduate level itself, different programs, then postgraduate programs, everything. So the opportunity with the university is immense, but it needs these kind of interventions to profile it in a very different way. Good luck for the initiative, and I congratulate the iNCAETEK, Kerala State Industrial Development Corporation, for this initiatives, and I promise that we will be able to learn from these initiatives more than contributing to this initiative. We will learn from this initiative to strengthen our systems to move forward, making the engineers of Kerala very specialist designs, the design capabilities of the state itself from our traditional knowledge systems is there, along with the new advanced technologies and tools combined with it, will take us to immense heights of knowledge across the globe. Let us work towards that, and I hope I have set the right context for the panel discussion. I would request the expert panelists to deliberate on this and come up with meaningful directions to move forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam, for the special address on DeXO initiative. Panel discussion ഉടനെ ആരംഭിക്കുന്നതാണ്.
Um, Thank you, madam. It was really, really inspiring to have heard from the Vice Chancellor about the initiative, the platform. Really looking forward to get started from there. The very word Dr. Rajeeve has ended with, the promise from KTU side to fulfill this activities which has spearheaded by KSIDC. So it's my promise on behalf of iNCAETEK to fulfill this reality, to support KTU and KSIDC in this initiative to make it a grand success. It's going to be the success for the state of Kerala because all stakeholders are in. So thank you, madam, for explaining the concept of the platform. And I would like to add only one thing, that there is a digital platform which we have made and which is getting integrated thanks to the leadership of Dr. Saji Gopinath, who is in the Vice Chancellor of Digital University. We have a discussion. So if at any time this platform could merge with the platform of platforms, DWMS, then this would be our promise to contribute to the cause of design through our humble small platform, which even if it's a 1% of 20,000 students from among the lakhs of students KTU is promising, if those could be channelized into this, then I am sure they are going to get placed and as part of the 20 lakhs count which the government has declared as the mandate for the next years. Out of 20 lakhs jobs generated within Kerala, this will be our promise to contribute to that cause. And then of course creating startups. So we are standing here as iNCAETEK as a startup. Of course now it's 10 years old, but we call it as a startup of startups. Okay, so through design engineering we wish to do that. So I felt it appropriate to add to your points before so that it sets the stage for the panel discussion. Which is being moderated by Mr. Keshav Prasad, who is the CEO of Very Fine Consulting, and it's ably the panelists led by Dr. Saji Gopinath. Then we have Shri T. Ravindran. So everybody would know him as the architect of Transmatics in Trivandrum in Kerala. So now he had been serving Axel Transmatic, the bigger entity, in the executive director capacity. Big sincere thanks to Arvind Akshan sir, the CFO, Chief Financial Officer in KSIDC. So very sad to say that Dr. Elizabeth Shirley ma'am, she was to be in the panel. She is stuck on the way. So I think we hope she would be here in some time. And then of course we have other from KTU, Dr. Shalij, the Dean Research. He is part of the panel discussion, which we can discuss on those elements. And we have from industry Mr. Sumesh. He represents TCS Engineering Services. So Sumesh is with us to be in the panel. So I am sure, ma'am, this is going to be a good discussion on how we can come forth with a practical solution, and we'll also discuss the challenges behind that. So with this, I would like to welcome you all for the panel discussion as well. Thank you. Before I hand it over to Mr. Keshav Prasad, so I want to tell that this part of the first set of the first part of our proceedings will be suspended here for some time until Minister and respected MD of KSIDC join us shortly. Thank you all.
Panel discussion ഇവിടെ ആരംഭിക്കുകയാണ്.
Okay, good evening all. So first of all, let me congratulate Gopi Krishnan for starting with this DeXO initiative. In fact, both of us used to talk a lot whenever we meet for functions, basically about how the skill of a student coming out of a college can match the skill required by industry. This has been a talk whenever we used to meet. So now ultimately he has come up with some good initiative. So congratulations for that. As of my background, I'm basically running a startup. It's basically a hardware startup. It's not a software startup. So running a hardware startup in a place like Kerala, it has its own challenges, starting from sourcing and all other challenges. So over the last so many years, what I have found is, again, the same skilling issue. When I started, I used to take students, freshers, train them for 3 or 4 months, and then slowly, put them into the actual whole work. So this actually is not a single one-time process. This happens continuously. Maybe you will train them, you go to 1 year or 1.5 years, they gain knowledge from you and they quit. They go for, of course, I mean, that's part of the whole cycle. And you have to start again this process. So this is actually a process which, of course, I have slowly accustomed with this particular thing. But what I personally, as a startup, running a startup, used to think is why we can't do this to some level when they are in college. So this is a basic background with which I would like to start. So the first round, I would expect that we'll start looking at the challenges or what is the current status, and then try to find or discuss on some solutions. So starting with Dr. Saji Gopinath. So what exactly is your opinion with this background? What is the current status? Would you feel that this has improved now, or is it still the same? Because we have been talking this skill academia industry connect from at least I think more than 5 years when you were in yeah. So it's not a new topic, but do you feel anything has changed since?
Good evening. It's actually very nice to be with live people, I think, after almost a very long time. So thanks, Gopi, for organizing this. And I also join congratulating Mr. Gopi Krishnan and KSIDC for taking this initiative. And coming back to this specific question of the skills and employability, my feeling is that this is a topic which we always used to discuss. And I think that in this today, it so happened that I am an odd man out. All of you are from industry, and I'm the only one from the academia. Generally, it's the other way around. You have more people from academia and very few from the industry. So we hear in almost every context that we don't have people who are employable. We have surveys after surveys who says that less than 10% of people are employable or 15% of people are employable. And even at the industry level, many times people face that you don't have people day one skills are not there. This is one side of it. But the other side of it, if you look at, I'm speaking only about Kerala. If you look at, take national level, take international level, at senior positions after some period of time. You take the research institutions. Many of the research institutions, top executives are from Kerala. You take not only in India, across the world, right? You take the IT companies, right from Meta in India to Microsoft or Google or any of those. You see that people are actually in very, very top positions, and all of them have come from our colleges. So I always have this problem. I mean, have a dilemma that if people are not employable and people are not getting skilled in colleges, people are not being educated in colleges, how do they actually reach such a high level? How can Malayalis actually reach all these levels? Because almost all of them are educated people. They are not dropouts. They really studied and got good grades and pass out. So I think the answer to this is that our education system, even today, only give long-run skills, not short-run skills. We are actually training people for lifelong learning, not for immediate requirement of the industry. Now, which is needed. And in the past, and I think you already said that, you take a person and you train them for 3 months or 4 months. This was what used to happen, and larger industries used to run for 1 year, 2 years sort of a training program. But today's world, that may not be feasible for an industry, because your billability is actually almost immediate, because you take somebody and then train them for another 1 year, the technology itself will change.
So one thing what I didn't tell is, now this is not at all, I cannot think of such a situation now at this point.
Absolutely. That is a point I think the academy should understand. And that is a point which skill agencies also have to understand. So what happens many times is that you think that academy and skills are two different things. So you actually have a passion for only skilling, but the academic knowledge is gone. Or academic institutions think that only academic knowledge is enough, day one skills is not enough as such. And that I think is the things which we need to solve. We need to actually, and your point is very valid, that why are we not having people coming out with skills from the colleges? So I will say that we should have both. It's not an overworld anymore. It should have both skills and knowledge together. And this is something which needs to be seriously being addressed, because it so happened that because placements are generally only on skills, there is a tendency for people to ignore knowledge. They somehow come out with passing the examination rather than really understanding the things. All these people which I said who reached the top, they actually did well in their academics. And now that is changing. And what will happen in this context is that people may get a job, but they may not really go really in progression. And we have seen some countries in the world who fail like that. They are only focusing on skills. So my submission is that we need to actually come out with ways where both skills and knowledge has to get integrated in the college. And that's where these sort of initiatives are very important. But I think we need to do more than that. And as a faculty, as a person who spent quite a bit of time in academy, I always believe that if the skills are also being imparted by the faculty themselves, which means not just I have a knowledge and I immediately impart skills, not that way. If I am also skilled and skilled through the industry, and then I can actually impart that, that is the best of the both worlds. But how do we do that is something which we need to discuss. In knowledge economy, we have some models which we are speaking about it, where maybe in another round I'll discuss more detail about it, where we used to say that we always speak about student internship. Why don't we think about faculty internship? We should actually send faculty at least 1 year, 1.5 years to industry, not as to see the industry, to work in the industry as a person. If the person comes back and teach, that person's the teaching will be far different than a person who has never seen an industry and only speaking on a theory. So that is my submission to it. Maybe we will discuss more detail on that.
I have this interesting anecdote when you said this. One of my professors in TKM, he used to say that he used to teach electron beam welding. So when he used to teach this electron beam welding, he used to draw a rectangle on board. This is an electron beam welding head. This is a part. This is a beam. So he had a chance to go to this our center here in Trivandrum, KSIDC. So this KSIDC actually had an electronic welding machine there. So when he saw that it's almost the size of a big room, So that's when he realized how, the way I taught people about electron beam welding. So it is all the wrong way of doing it. Okay, so your thoughts. So my name is Sumesh. Thanks for giving the opportunity. I associate with TCS and directly impacted by this problem now with the skill because I take care of the hire, train and deploy plan for our engineering business unit for TCS for the graduates from India, US and Japan region. So I have this exposure of what is happening in these two countries other than India. So Mr. Dr. Sajisa was my operations manager professor at IIM Coir. Probably I couldn't answer many of your questions there, but I can answer your question on why engineers are not employable when they come out of the academics here. So the problem is I graduated in 2000 as a mechanical engineer. My industrial visit was only to the TEL in Angamali and to the Kerala Automobiles in Neyatingara. So hope you know what I can learn from those two institutions. And I had my project done in VSSC where I was unable to touch any of those components there. I was just able to do some software simulation and come out of the lab. So I had my first realization as a mechanical engineer when I was in a telecom lab in US where I had to solve a problem with the thermal heating up of a product, telecom product. Where I was given the problem of solving that why that component design is causing the heat up of the product. I had to learn all those engineering fundamentals from there in that 3 or 4 months there because I have to save my face of my company in front of my customer. So that I believe that's the story for any engineers from Kerala, especially because of the industry, the situation here. But how can we solve it? I believe these are the platforms to be that we can adopt. Because see, there is a very recent book by the Tata chairman N. Chandrasekharan on the what the problem nation is facing. They call it as the digital nation, where we lack bridges. We do have potential, we do have needs, we do have requirements, we do have the skills, but we don't have the bridges to meet these, the requirements with the skills, which these kind of platforms will solve. So I believe we are in big need of these kind of platforms to solve this employability problem for the engineering graduates, especially from Kerala. And since I interface with the hiring of my engineering graduates for TCS, one of the biggest problems right now facing in this time is because of the explosion of talent, need in digital technologies like AI, machine learning and everything, many of the core electronics and mechanical engineers are trying to move there. Exactly. They have their 4 years of mechanical engineering done, they don't want to do any of the work there. Whereas we have big needs of this autonomous cars, IoT, Internet of Things enabled for the traditional industry. Nobody wants to work there. Everybody wants to work in the software and the AI. So I believe these are the platforms that can solve those problems. That's right. So that's my take. Sir,
I represent industry. This topic which we are discussing now is, in my opinion, one part of the whole scene of industry institution collaboration or cooperation. In fact, in any developed country, you will see that there is a very healthy relationship between the academia and the industry, and to a great extent the government agencies also. Unless that mutual dependence, which in turn results in substantial benefits to all the stakeholders, become a healthy situation, we too can't aspire to raise to the level of the technology giants of this world. Academia definitely is the beginning, and for us it remains the beginning. It ends there. After a student gets out of the engineering college or any of the technical training centers, the relationship with the institution ceases. And as far as the faculty is concerned, for them also the only relationship is with the undergraduate or graduate, or probably a few institutions will have doctoral or postdoctoral programs. That's very, very, very few in India. So the contact or the interaction between the academia and the students is limited to what happens within the 4 walls of that institution. That has to change. Say, from any perspective, say, if the students have to benefit, if the faculty has to benefit, if the industry has to benefit, and in turn the nation has to benefit, collaborative effort, effectively implemented and monitored, which will give ample rewards to all the stakeholders. That has to be the policy framework of the government, and in which all of us should participate. And it is in this context that such interactions will be very healthy and very useful. It is true that a student, when he comes out of the college, especially a technical university, will not be able to, in the present context, will not be able to take up a job. In fact, our company started as a startup more than 35 years back. So I know what was the situation then and what is the situation now. So in fact, we were training grounds. In fact, most of the smaller companies in India are training grounds. They are training grounds for raw graduates to come in, be there for probably a year or two, and then they go for better paid jobs in better known companies. So that situation has to change, because even when they come out of the technical institution, they should have at least, it cannot be, I won't say that it will, they have to be made employable. They should be made to understand, or they should be given at least a glimpse of what will be in store for them when they start working in the industry.
Good evening everyone. കേരളത്തിലെ സാങ്കേതിക വിദ്യാഭ്യാസം പൂർത്തിയാക്കിയ കോർ എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗിൽ കരിയർ കാംക്ഷിക്കുന്നവർക്കായി ഒരു ബ്രേക്ക് ത്രൂ ആവാൻ വിഭാവന ചെയ്ത ഒരു പദ്ധതിയാണ് DeXO. കേരള സ്റ്റേറ്റ് ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയൽ ഡെവലപ്മെൻറ്റ് കോർപ്പറേഷൻ അഥവാ KSIDC ലീഡ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഈ ഇനിഷ്യേറ്റീവ് പ്രധാനമായും APJ അബ്ദുൽ കലാം ടെക്നോളജി യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയുടെ കീഴിലുള്ള എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് കോളേജുകൾക്ക് ലഭ്യമാക്കുക എന്ന ഉദ്ദേശത്തോടു കൂടിയാണ്. ടെക്നിക്കൽ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷനിൽ 10 വർഷമായി നിറസാന്നിധ്യമുള്ള സ്കിൽ ആൻഡ് കരിയർ പാർട്ട്ണറായ ഇൻകാടെക് സൊല്യൂഷൻസ് വിഭാവന ചെയ്ത DeXO ഇനിഷ്യേറ്റീവ് കേരളത്തിലെ ടാലൻറ്റ് എക്കോസിസ്റ്റം ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്യാൻ സഹായകമാകും. ഈ എക്കോസിസ്റ്റത്തിൽ പങ്കാളികളാകുന്നത് വിദ്യാർത്ഥികൾ, ഉദ്യോഗാർത്ഥികൾ, സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പുകൾ, കോർപ്പറേറ്റ് കമ്മ്യൂണിറ്റി വെൽഫെയർ സ്ഥാപനങ്ങൾ എന്നിവയാണ്. ആയതിനാൽ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി, KDISC, KSIDC, കേരള സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പ് മിഷൻ, IC ഫോഴ്സ്, ICT അക്കാഡമി ഓഫ് കേരള, ASAP, ട്രസ്റ്റ് റിസർച്ച് പാർക്ക്, പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് കമ്പനികൾ തുടങ്ങിയവ ഒരു കുടക്കീഴിൽ കൊണ്ടുവരുന്നത് അഭികാമ്യമാണ്. ഇന്ന് ഈ സായാഹ്നത്തിൽ മേൽപ്പറഞ്ഞ സ്ഥാപനങ്ങളിലെ താക്കോൽ സ്ഥാനത്തിരിക്കുന്നവരും സമൂഹത്തിൽ സ്വാധീനം ചെലുത്തുന്നവരും കേരള സർക്കാർ പ്രതിനിധികളും ഇതിനെല്ലാം ഉപരി ഭാവി വാഗ്ദാനങ്ങളായ വിദ്യാർത്ഥികളുമാണ് ഇവിടെ എത്തിച്ചേർന്നിട്ടുള്ളത്. കോവിഡാനന്തര ന്യൂ നോർമൽ സിറ്റുവേഷനിൽ ഈ പരിപാടി ഇവിടെ ഒത്തുകൂടിയവർക്ക് പുറമെ ലൈവ് സ്ട്രീമിംഗ് ആയി കേരളത്തിലുടനീളമുള്ള എല്ലാ എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് കോളേജിലെ സ്റ്റാഫുകളും മറ്റ് സംസ്ഥാനങ്ങളിലെ വ്യവസായികളും സംരംഭകരും പങ്കെടുക്കുന്നതിനാൽ ഈ പരിപാടി ദൂരവ്യാപകമായി എത്തുന്നു. തദവസരത്തിൽ ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട മന്ത്രിയുടെ സാന്നിധ്യം വലിയ ഒരു മുതൽക്കൂട്ടാണ്. ഇത്തരമൊരു സംരംഭത്തിന് നാന്ദി കുറിക്കുന്നതിന് അത് കേരളത്തിൻ്റെ വിജയമാക്കി മാറ്റുന്നതിനും കേരള സ്റ്റേറ്റ് ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയൽ ഡെവലപ്മെൻറ്റ് കോർപ്പറേഷനും ഇൻകാടെക് സൊല്യൂഷനും ഏവരെയും ഡെക്സോ ഇനിഷ്യേറ്റീവിലേക്ക് ഹാർദവമായി സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യുന്നു. ഔപചാരികമായി സ്വാഗതം പറയാൻ ഇൻകാടെക് മാനേജിംഗ് ഡയറക്ടർ സി ഗോപികൃഷ്ണനെ സാദരം ക്ഷണിച്ചുകൊള്ളുന്നു.
നമസ്കാരം. ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട വ്യവസായ മന്ത്രി ശ്രീ പി രാജീവ്, ബഹുമാന്യനായ KSIDC മാനേജിംഗ് ഡയറക്ടർ ശ്രീ രാജമാണിക്യം, സദസ്സിൽ സന്നിഹിതരായിരിക്കുന്ന വിശിഷ്ട അതിഥികൾ, പാനൽ ചർച്ചയിൽ നേതൃത്വം നൽകി വന്നിരുന്ന അതിഥികൾക്കും ഇന്ന് പങ്കെടുക്കാൻ എത്തിയിരിക്കുന്ന എല്ലാവർക്കും ഞാൻ ഒരിക്കൽ കൂടി സ്വാഗതം പറയുന്നു. ഈ ഒരു അവസരത്തിൽ ഇന്ന് നമ്മളോടൊപ്പം ഡെക്സോ എന്ന ഈ ഇനിഷ്യേറ്റീവ് ഈ സായാഹ്നത്തിൽ ഉദ്ഘാടനം ചെയ്യാൻ നമ്മളോടൊപ്പം ബഹുമാന്യപ്പെട്ട വ്യവസായ മന്ത്രി എത്തിയതിൽ KSIDCയുടെ പങ്ക് വളരെ വലുതാണ്. KTU അഥവാ APJ അബ്ദുൽ കലാം ടെക്നോളജിക്കൽ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയുടെ വൈസ് ചാൻസലർ ഡോക്ടർ രാജശ്രീ മാഡം നേരത്തെ സൂചിപ്പിച്ചതുപോലെ ഈ ഒരു ഇനിഷ്യേറ്റീവ് ഡെക്സോ എന്നൊരു ഇനിഷ്യേറ്റീവ് അക്കാഡമി ഇൻസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂട്ട് ഇൻ്റഗ്രേഷന് ഒരു നാന്ദി കുറിക്കുന്ന, ഇതുപോലെ മറ്റ് പല ഇനിഷ്യേറ്റീവ്സിനും തുടക്കമാവുന്ന ഒന്നാവട്ടെ. അപ്പോൾ അതിനാൽ ഇൻകേടെക് എന്ന സ്ഥാപനം സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പ് ഫോർ സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്സ് എന്ന നിലയ്ക്ക് ഈ ഒരു സംരംഭം ഡെക്സോ വിജയിപ്പിക്കാൻ പ്രതിജ്ഞാബദ്ധരാണ്. അതിൽ KSIDCയുടെ ഇക്കോസിസ്റ്റത്തിൽ വരുന്ന സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പുകളും MSMEs, മൈക്രോ സ്മോൾ മീഡിയം എൻ്റർപ്രൈസസ്, മറ്റ് കമ്പനികളും ഈവൻ ISRO പോലുള്ള ഹൈ എൻഡ് എൻജിനീയറിംഗ് കമ്പനികളും നമ്മുടെ നാട്ടിലുണ്ട്, സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പുകളുണ്ട്. ഈ ഒരു ഇക്കോസിസ്റ്റത്തിലേക്ക് KSIDCയിലും സപ്ലൈ സൈഡിൽ നിന്ന് KTUയുടെ ലക്ഷങ്ങളോളം വരുന്ന 145 കോളേജുകളിൽ നിന്നും ഉള്ള കുട്ടികളെയും സ്റ്റുഡൻസ് UG PG സ്റ്റുഡൻസിനെയും ഈ സംരംഭത്തിലേക്ക് കൊണ്ടുവരുന്നു. അതിനുവേണ്ടി ഒരു ഡിജിറ്റൽ പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോം, നേരത്തെ സൂചിപ്പിച്ച പോലെ പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോം ഓഫ് പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോംസ് ആയ DWMS കേരള സർക്കാരിൻ്റെ ആ പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോമിലേക്ക് ഈ dsynXPO ഇന്നിപ്പോൾ മന്ത്രി ഏതാനും നിമിഷങ്ങൾക്കുള്ളിൽ ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട മന്ത്രി ഉദ്ഘാടനം ചെയ്യുന്ന ആ dsynXPO പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോം, ഡിജിറ്റൽ പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോം, ഇത് സാധ്യമാവാൻ വളരെയധികം ഉപകരിക്കും. ഇത് കേരളത്തിൽ മാത്രമായിരിക്കില്ല ഇത് ഡിജിറ്റൽ ആയതുകൊണ്ട് ഇതിൻ്റെ വ്യാപകമായ ഒരു എഫക്റ്റ് ഉണ്ടാകും. ഇത് ത്രൂ ദിസ് പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോം യു ക്യാൻ കണക്ട് എനിബഡി എനിവെയർ. ആ ഒരു ആശയം അതായിരിക്കും കേരള സർക്കാരിൻ്റെ 20 ലക്ഷം പേർക്ക് ജോലി വാഗ്ദാനം ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്ന ഈ ഒരു സ്കീമിൽ നമ്മുടെ ഡിസൈൻ എഞ്ചിനീയറിങ്ങിൻ്റെ കേവലം 1% ആയിക്കോട്ടെ 20,000 പേരുടെ ഒരു സംഭാവന നമുക്ക് കൊടുക്കാൻ സാധിക്കുന്നത് ഈ പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോമിലൂടെ ആയിരിക്കും. അതിൽ സപ്ലൈ ഈ ഭാഗത്തു നിന്നും ഡിമാൻഡ് ഫ്രം ഓൾ ദ എൻജിനീയറിംഗ് കമ്പനീസ് അക്രോസ് ദ വേൾഡ്, അതിന് ഈ ഒരു പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോം സാധ്യമാകട്ടെ എന്ന് ഞാൻ പറയുന്നു, ആശംസിച്ചു കൊള്ളുന്നു. അതിൽ ഈ പരിപാടിയിൽ പങ്കുചേരാനും ഇതിലെ ഉദ്ഘാടനം ചെയ്ത് ഇതിനൊരു നന്ദി കുറിക്കാൻ സന്നദ്ധനായ ശ്രീ രാജീവ് മന്ത്രിയും ശ്രീ രാജമാണിക്യം IAS അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് രണ്ടുപേർക്കും ഞാൻ സ്വാഗതം വീണ്ടും പറയുന്നു. ഉദ്ഘാടനത്തിനായി ഞാൻ ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട മന്ത്രി ശ്രീ പി രാജീവിനെ ക്ഷണിച്ചു കൊള്ളുന്നു.
ശ്രീ രാജമാണിക്യം IAS MD KSIDC ഇൻകാടെക്കിൻ്റെ ചുമതലക്കാരായ ബഹുമാന്യ വ്യക്തിത്വങ്ങൾ, ഡിജിറ്റൽ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി വി സി ഡോക്ടർ സജി, സുഹൃത്തുക്കളെ, ദീർഘമായ ഒരു പ്രസംഗത്തിന് ഞാൻ തുനിയുന്നില്ല. നല്ലൊരു കോൺസെപ്റ്റാണ് ഇന്നിപ്പോൾ ഇവിടെ പ്രായോഗികമാകുന്നത്. ഞങ്ങൾ കുറച്ചു കാലമായി ചർച്ച ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന ഒന്നാണ് ഇൻഡസ്ട്രി അക്കാഡമിയ ലിങ്കേജ് എന്നുള്ളത്. എങ്ങനെ ശക്തിപ്പെടുത്താൻ കഴിയും? ഡിജിറ്റൽ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി അതിനകത്ത് കുറേ കാര്യങ്ങൾ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. ഇപ്പോൾ നമ്മുടെ മറ്റ് യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റികളും ആ വഴിക്ക് സഞ്ചരിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നു 10-ലധികം സ്കിൽ ഡെവലപ്മെൻറ്റ് സ്ഥാപനങ്ങൾ ഗവൺമെൻറ് നിയന്ത്രണത്തിൽ തന്നെ ഇപ്പോൾ കേരളത്തിലുണ്ട്. ഓരോരുത്തരും ഓരോ മേഖല കേന്ദ്രീകരിച്ചാണ് പ്രവർത്തിക്കുന്നത്. ഒരു ഗ്യാപ്പ് എപ്പോഴും നിലനിൽക്കുന്നുണ്ട് എന്നത് യാഥാർത്ഥ്യമാണ്. ഞാൻ നേരത്തെ ചില മീറ്റിംഗ് പറയാറുണ്ട്. ഒരിക്കൽ BPCLൻ്റെ അവർ പറഞ്ഞവർക്ക് ഒരു 100 വെൽഡേഴ്സിനെ വേണം. IT എന്ന് നല്ല മാർക്ക് വാങ്ങിയ ആളുകളെല്ലാം ചോദിച്ചു 2 പേരെ കിട്ടിയുള്ളവർ. അവരുടെ ആവശ്യത്തിനനുസരിച്ച് വെൽഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ അറിയാവുന്ന 2 പേരെ കിട്ടിയുള്ളൂ. പക്ഷെ 90-ഉം 85-ഉം 95 മാർക്ക് കിട്ടിയ എല്ലാവരും വന്നിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. നമ്മൾ ഈ മാർക്കിലാണ് നമ്മുടെ ഒരു കേന്ദ്രീകരണം. നല്ലത് തന്നെ, മോശമല്ല. പക്ഷെ നമ്മുടെ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിക്ക് ആവശ്യമായ രൂപത്തിൽ നൈപുണികളുള്ള ആളുകളെ നമുക്ക് ഉണ്ടാക്കാൻ കഴിയുന്നില്ല. അതാണ് നമ്മുടെ ഒരു കുറവ്. ആ ഒരു ഗ്യാപ്പ് ഫില്ല് ചെയ്യലാണ് ഈ സ്കിൽ ഡെവലപ്മെൻറ്റ് സംവിധാനങ്ങളെല്ലാം ചെയ്യാൻ ശ്രമിക്കുന്നത്. ഇപ്പോഴും ഞാൻ അതിനകത്ത് കാണുന്ന ഒരു പരിമിതി, നിലവിൽ നമ്മുടെ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയുമായിട്ടുള്ളൊരു പ്രോപ്പർ ഇൻട്രാക്ഷൻ വേണ്ടത്ര വരുന്നില്ല. നമ്മുടെ സ്കിൽ ഡെവലപ്മെൻറ്റ് സ്ഥാപനങ്ങൾ ഇപ്പോൾ ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ ഇന്ന സ്കില്ല് ഇവിടെ വേണ്ടതാകും എന്ന് അവർ ഗവേഷണമൊക്കെ നടത്തി ഒരു ധാരണത്താണ്. എന്നാൽ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയോട് ചോദിക്കുന്നില്ല, നിങ്ങൾക്ക് എന്ത് സ്കില്ലുള്ള ആളിനെയാണ് വേണ്ടത്. നമ്മൾ 10,000-കണക്കിന് ആളുകളെ നമ്മൾ ട്രെയിൻ ചെയ്തെടുക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. ചിലത് എമർജിങ് ടെക്നോളജിയാണ്. ഇപ്പോൾ ഇവരൊക്കെ ബ്ലോക്ക് ചെയിനിൽ 1500 പേർക്ക് ട്രെയിനിങ് കൊടുത്തായിട്ടാണെന്ന് മീറ്റിംഗ് പറഞ്ഞത്. അല്ലെ, 16,000. അത് 16,000 പേർക്ക് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ലോകത്തിൽ തന്നെ ഏറ്റവും വലിയൊരു നമ്പറായിരിക്കും. ഒരു പ്രദേശം 16,000 പേർക്ക് ബ്ലോക്ക് ചെയിനിൽ ട്രെയിനിങ് കൊടുക്കുക എന്നുള്ളത്. പക്ഷെ അവർ പിന്നെ ആ മേഖലയിൽ പൊക്കോളൂ. പക്ഷെ നമ്മുടെ ഇന്നത്തെ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിക്കും ഉയർന്നു വരുന്ന പുതിയ സൺറൈസ് ഇൻഡസ്ട്രികൾക്കും ആവശ്യമായിട്ടുള്ള സ്കില്ലിനനുസരിച്ച് നമുക്ക് ഈ സംവിധാനങ്ങൾ ഒന്നുകൂടി പുനഃക്രമീകരിക്കേണ്ടത് ആവശ്യമാണ്. ഞങ്ങളിങ്ങനൊരു ചർച്ച നടത്തിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുമ്പോൾ KSIDC അതിനൊരു മുൻകൈ എടുത്തു. അതിൻ്റെ കൂടി ഭാഗമായിട്ടാണിപ്പോൾ ഈ സംവിധാനത്തിന് KSIDC ഭാഗവാക്കായത്. ടെക്നിക്കൽ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയുമായി ചേർന്നിട്ടാണ് ഈ സംവിധാനം പ്രവർത്തിക്കുന്നത്. അത് നല്ല രീതിയിൽ മുന്നോട്ട് പോയാൽ നമുക്ക് എല്ലായിടത്തേക്കും ഇത് വ്യാപിപ്പിക്കാൻ കഴിയും. അതിന് മുൻകൈ എടുത്ത എല്ലാവരെയും അഭിനന്ദിക്കുന്നു. ഇൻകാടെക്കിൻ്റെ ഈ DeXO ഈ സംവിധാനം ഉദ്ഘാടനം ചെയ്തതായി അറിയിച്ച് വാക്കുകൾ അവസാനിപ്പിക്കുന്നു. എല്ലാവർക്കും നന്ദി, നമസ്കാരം. പത്രത്തിൽ കൊടുക്കണമെങ്കിൽ മാസ്ക് വേണം.
ഇന്നത്തെ ഈ ഉദ്ഘാടന കർമ്മം പുരോഗമന രീതിയിലുള്ള ഡിജിറ്റൽ ഇനോഗ്രേഷനായി ക്രമീകരിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നു. അത്യന്തം പുരോഗമന ചിന്താഗതിയുള്ള ഒരു മന്ത്രി ഈ കർമ്മം നിർവഹിക്കുന്നത് അതിൻ്റെ മാറ്റ് കൂട്ടുന്നു. കേരളത്തിലെ വ്യവസായ അവസ്ഥ മാറ്റിമറിക്കാനും സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പ് എക്കോസിസ്റ്റം വിപുലീകരിക്കാനും ദിനരാത്രം യത്നിക്കുന്ന ബഹുമാന്യനായ നിയമം, വ്യവസായം, കയർ എന്നീ മേഖലകൾ കൈകാര്യം ചെയ്യുന്ന ശ്രീ P. രാജീവ് അവർകളെ സ്ക്രീനിൽ തെളിയുന്ന ദീപത്തിൽ ക്ലിക്ക് ചെയ്ത് DeXO ഇനിഷ്യേറ്റീവ് ഔപചാരികമായി ഉദ്ഘാടനം ചെയ്യാൻ ആദരപൂർവ്വം ക്ഷണിക്കുന്നു.
dsynXPO, the talent lifecycle platform.
dsynXPO is an online platform which has 4 corners for a 4D Gestalt experience. These 4 corners embody the objective-driven lifecycle of design talent. The first corner is called the Knowledge Corner, where subscribers get to experience industry veterans expound on a wide variety of topics, as well as assess themselves before utilizing other corners. The second is the Skilling Corner, where engineering trainees can upskill themselves to be job-ready. Certification as per NSQF skill levels is based on assignments involving product development functions. The third is the Project Corner,
where the interns can submit projects and showcase their accomplishments in the gallery. Professional engineers can also bid for projects and amateurs can sell their innovations in the trade mart. The fourth is the Career Corner, where trainees or career aspirants can submit their resumes, and employers can choose from the pool of skilled, star-rated engineers for their requirements. Recruiters can get a three-dimensional view of candidates here, such as technical know-how and experience.
ഇവർക്കും പ്രിയങ്കരനായ മന്ത്രിക്ക് 1000 നന്ദി. അടുത്തതായി കീനോട്ട് അഡ്രസ്സാണ്. ഡെക്സോ ഇനിഷ്യേറ്റീവ് ചാമ്പ്യൻ ചെയ്യുന്ന കേരള സ്റ്റേറ്റ് ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയൽ ഡെവലപ്മെൻറ്റ് കോർപ്പറേഷൻ്റെ സാരഥി ശ്രീ MG രാജമാണിക്യം IAS ആണ് ഈ പദ്ധതിയുടെ ചീഫ് ആർക്കിടെക്റ്റ്. ഊർജ്ജസ്വലനായ ഉദ്യോഗസ്ഥൻ എന്നതിലുപരി ദീർഘവീക്ഷണത്തോടെ പ്രവർത്തിക്കുന്നതും സർവ്വസമ്മതനായ വ്യക്തി എന്ന നിലയിൽ പേരെടുത്ത രാജമാണിക്യം സാറിനെ കീനോട്ട് അഡ്രസ്സിനായി സാദരം ക്ഷണിക്കുന്നു.
ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട നിയമ വ്യവസായ കയർ വകുപ്പ് മന്ത്രി ശ്രീ രാജീവ് സർ, ഇൻകാടെക് MD ശ്രീ ഗോപി, ഡോക്ടർ സജി ഗോപിനാഥ്, മറ്റ് സുഹൃത്തുക്കളെ, എല്ലാവർക്കും നമസ്കാരം. ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട മന്ത്രി പറഞ്ഞതുപോലെ ശരിക്കും പറഞ്ഞാൽ മിനിസ്റ്റർ ചാർജ് എടുത്തതിന് ശേഷം ആദ്യം പറഞ്ഞ എൻ്റെ അടുത്തൊരു കാര്യം നമ്മൾ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രി അക്കാഡമിയ ലിങ്കേജ് ഉണ്ടാക്കണമെന്നാണ്. അപ്പോൾ അത് 2-3 പ്രാവശ്യം പറഞ്ഞതിന് ശേഷം ഒരു ദിവസമാണ് ഇൻകാടെക്കോടെ MD അങ്ങോട്ട് ആൾറെഡി KSIDC സീഡ് ഫണ്ട് ചെയ്തതാണ്, ഈ പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോം ക്രിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ് ഒരുപാട് ഇതിലേക്ക് വന്നപ്പോൾ അങ്ങനെയാണ് ഈ കൊളാബറേഷൻ തുടങ്ങിയത്. അങ്ങനെ മന്ത്രിയുടെ ആദ്യത്തെ അഡ്വൈസാണ്. ഇറ്റ് ഹാസ് ബീൻ ഫ്രക്ടിഫൈഡ് നൗ. So thanks for both Minister as well as INCAETEK for making this new start here. ഞാൻ ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട മന്ത്രിക്ക് തിരക്കുള്ളത് കൊണ്ട് കൂടുതൽ സംസാരിക്കാൻ ആഗ്രഹിക്കുന്നില്ല. അവർ കൃത്യമായിട്ട് സൂചിപ്പിച്ചതുപോലെ കേരളത്തെ സംബന്ധിച്ചിടത്തോളം വി ഹാവ് എ ഗുഡ് ടാലൻറ്റ് പവർ ഹൗസ് വിത്ത് സ്ട്രോങ് സോഷ്യൽ ഡെവലപ്മെൻ്റ് ഉള്ള വലിയ ഹ്യൂമൻ റിസോഴ്സ് ക്യാപിറ്റലാണ്. പക്ഷേ ഡിമാൻഡും സപ്ലൈയും തമ്മിലുള്ള ആ മിസ്മാച്ച് എങ്ങനെയാണ് കൈകാര്യം ചെയ്യണമെന്നുള്ളതാണ് മന്ത്രിയും പറഞ്ഞ് നമ്മളും പറഞ്ഞ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രി അക്കാഡമി ലിങ്കേജ്. ഒരുപാട് ലക്ഷക്കണക്കിലുള്ള ആൾക്കാർ പുറത്തു വരുന്നുണ്ട്. ദ എംപ്ലോയബിലിറ്റി സ്കിൽ ഇസ് മിസ്സിങ്. ദേ മേ ബി ഹാവിങ് ഗുഡ് അക്കാഡമിക് സ്കിൽസ്. എങ്ങനെയാണ് ഇത് എംപ്ലോയബിലിറ്റി ആയിട്ട് മാറ്റിയെടുക്കാൻ പറ്റുക എന്നുള്ള ആ ഒരു സ്കിൽ മിസ്സിംഗ് ആണ്. അത് നമ്മൾ പഠിപ്പിക്കുന്നതിന് മൂലം എസ്പെഷ്യലി ഇന്ന് നമ്മൾ ഡോക്ടർ സജി ഈസ് ദെയർ. ഐ വുഡ് സേ ഈസ് ആർക്കിടെക്ട് ഓഫ് സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പ് ഹിയർ. ആൻഡ് കേരളത്തെ ഇന്ന് സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പോടെ ഒരു ലോക ഹിസ്റ്ററിയിലേക്ക് കൊണ്ടുവന്ന ഒരാളും കൂടി ഞാൻ പറയും ഞാൻ. സോ വാട്ട് വി നീഡ് ഇസ് എ നെക്സ്റ്റ് ജനറേഷൻ സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പോടെ ഒരു ആവശ്യമുണ്ട്, സോ ദാറ്റ് മോർ നമ്പർ ഓഫ് പീപ്പിൾ ക്യാൻ ബി എംപ്ലോയിഡ്. We are all, a lot of talents are there, human resources are there, but more number of talent നമ്മൾ സ്കിൽ സെറ്റ് ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് അടുത്ത ലെവലിലേക്ക് എത്തിക്കാനായിട്ട് ഈ പരിപാടി അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഈ പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോമെ കൊണ്ട് പറ്റുമെന്നുള്ളതാണ് ഇതിന് ഏറ്റവും വലിയ ഒരു അച്ചീവ്മെൻ്റ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ഈ അച്ചീവ്മെൻറ്റിന് പുറകിൽ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്ന ഇൻകാടെക്കും അതുപോലെ നമ്മളുടെ കൈകോർക്കുന്ന KTU എല്ലാവരെയും ഈ അവസരത്തിൽ നന്ദി അറിയിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് KSIDCയുടെ ഫർദർ സപ്പോർട്ടും ഉണ്ടാവും എന്നുള്ളത് പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ നിർത്തുന്നു. നന്ദി, നമസ്കാരം.
ഒരു പുനർക്രമീകരണം വേണ്ടി വന്നു. പക്ഷേ അതിനായി എല്ലാവരും ഒരുപാട് സഹകരിച്ചു. വളരെ നന്ദി. അപ്പോൾ പാനൽ ഡിസ്കഷൻ തുടരാം. ഡോക്ടർ സജി ഗോപിനാഥിൻ്റെ സാന്നിധ്യത്തിൽ തുടങ്ങിയത് ഇനി നമുക്ക് തുടരാം. അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ സന്ദേശം അറിയിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. തുടർന്നു കൊള്ളാൻ. സർ Keshav Prasad, you can continue.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, baby, I think you were the one who couldn't say anything. Yeah, maybe.
For starting, so let me congratulate Gopi Krishnan and team iNCAETEK Solutions for this wonderful business opportunity designed for the benefit of the state as a whole. At KSIDC, we are extremely delighted to associate with iNCAETEK Solutions. As we are charming the scheme for this dsynXPO. So actually, maybe more than a year we have been discussing on this. It's a seed-funded unit, and later on for this we have given scale-up funding also to give this platform. So I always, basically I am a finance person, the Chief Financial Officer of KSIDC, but also I have been working in the startup ecosystem since 2014. So I am known in that sector. So KSIDC has funded a large number of hundreds of startups. KSIDC also into medium and large scale funding. We have into the infrastructure. So this is what this problem which you have mentioned about this, again Rajeeve was also talking about. There is a depth of qualified hands in every aspect. The startups now they are finding it extremely difficult to get that qualified hands at affordable cost. The cost is also important. So you can hire somebody from Bangalore, but you'll have to pay through the nose. So this is a big challenge. Likewise, KSIDC developed infrastructure parks across the state. For example, in Palishiri, Calicut, we have a cluster of footwear units. So design is very important. So you have to design the chappals or footwears, and every year you have to have what is happening, because of most of the time they will see what is just going on and they copy it. So instead of that, even bigger companies, they don't have own design centers. So it's not only the engineering side alone, it's the other side also, designers are required. And we have another park in Palakkad, it's called Light Engineering Park. Slowly now Kerala is getting attracted, and companies are coming up. And the defense sector has opened up. Infra has come out with the defense park in Kerala. Small units are relocating from Mumbai and other locations. So those basically Keralites have been doing business elsewhere. Now they heard Kerala, now it's okay, it's slowly coming back. So then again this problem, because where do they get the right kind of people from that? So there's a laser cut machines, all this. We have been having this problem all the time. So in KSIDC itself, we generally recruit in the project finance, engineering graduates with MBA, some who have post qualification. But we have a lot of electrical engineers, mechanical engineers, civil engineers doing something different. But problem is that they don't have really whatever their core competency they have over time. Since there is not much of opportunity, they are coming into that. So this is a big problem. So I am so whenever I discuss with Gopi Krishnan sort of some mind the social orientation, I would say. Generally a development institution does for that. So we thought to give the right person to associate, because he's not looking at the profit alone, but sometimes I used to say that you should have the business because of money matters. So we thought that you won't be able to. So that is the basic context which we associated with the income.
Okay, for the second round, I think I'll start with a small incident. Like I said that the people used to come, into my company for training, And in some cases, after completing the training, some of them might join me and some people might go for other jobs. And I would also help them find jobs. So one of my friends actually called one of these, who have been trained. Of the 3 people, 1 person I sent him. So this, my friend who is also running a startup, again a hardware startup. So he interviewed and he called me. See, your person is okay, he's answering stuff, but I asked one particular fundamental question to him. Like, if you open a fridge in a room, will the room get cooled or not? Then he said it will get cooled. Then I asked him, simply I asked him a question. See, what exactly is your candidate supposed to do for you? He's supposed to do design, right? If you give a part, whether he's able to make a drawing, design, is he able to do that or not? Don't ask him your fundamental physics questions. What is a skill you are looking for? Only ask for that. He did that and he passed. So what I'm trying to tell is, the expectation once someone comes to the BTech course is that he should be able to derive, differential equations and solve complex. It's nothing like that. See, more than 90% of the problems can be solved by what you have learned till 12th. So that I used to tell people. So with that context, I would like to ask, how do we basically structure our, basic engineering curriculum, or for that matter, any curriculum, so that skill is more important than knowledge. It's more important should be given for, something they make or, physically achieve, rather than, they write on a piece of paper as answers. So this is something which I have in mind for a long time, so we can add to.
We ask the fundamental questions. Fundamentals are not required much in the industry. You need them, but practical hands are more required. Because fundamental theories, everything is now almost taken care by the basic products that we already have in the society. So to answer your question on what should we do, I still see 2 factors missing in most of the students, not just from Kerala, but across the Indian engineering institutions. When I compare with what we get from, say, US or Japan, what I see is the aspiration to be a real engineer. People take engineering either because of the parental pressure, social pressure, or there is no other choice other than either medicine or engineering. So people go into engineering in that mode. Whether they want to be a professional engineer in their real life, in their long-term career, that's a question that they have to ask before they enter into the college for the first time. Second thing is the mindset to be an engineer. That can be developed, I believe, because even if you don't have a mindset for an engineer, I believe the 4 years of engineering studies can at least maintain a degree of engineering mindset in the students, which I see lacking in our engineering curriculum. People, as you said, they learn a lot of fundamentals, they learn a lot of concepts, which is there in every textbook. Now most of them are automated in the simulation systems. They don't need to learn any of those things. But can I use those skills, can I use those concepts to design a practical solution for the problem statement that I have in front of me? That mindset is missing in many of the students that come out of the engineering institutions, which I see very much dominant in the students that we get from US or Japan University. There, a chemical engineering student or probably mechanical engineering student, because we are thinking of design, they may design a nut and bolt of a car, but they know the in and out of the design of the nut and bolt and how it comes in, how that component works in the whole product as a car, where a car has more than 8,000, 9,000 parts. Whereas here, people know the whole design of the car, but they lack the mindset to design the nut and bolt. So I believe our engineering curriculum needs a tweak. I don't blame the faculty, because I respect the faculty. They need to be there for teaching the fundamentals, but above the fundamentals, the industry has to collaborate to teach these practical classes there in the academics. That's what I see as missing in the Indian curriculum.
I would like to say, and I do believe that the training of an engineer, the academic part, has to be slightly different from that of a skilled worker or a technician. Because what is, after all, the function of an engineer once he starts working for a corporate or, whichever field he will be in, let it be academia, let it be government. It is to be a leader. It is to ensure that whatever assignment that is given to him, it is just not possible to learn everything that you need in an industry or in government or in academia at a later date when you are a student. What we learn will be fundamentals, and at the same time, that student who wants to be an engineer should be trained. He has to be given the input to see that he develops as a person who can conceive things, who can understand things, who can analyze things and come up with solutions. So in that respect, skilling, in my opinion, is not such an essential part of the engineering curriculum. I tend to agree with what Dr. Govinath said, that the engineer, of course, he should have certain skills, but that is not the paramount. The paramount thing is that once he becomes an engineer, he should be capable of leading a group. Not only that, he should be able to understand the objectives, work towards that objectives, and whatever be required in that respect to achieve that goal or to manage the company, he should be able to derive or obtain from the available sources. And because that won't be in the textbooks. Definitely we study so many subjects, we write so many exams. You will never, in my personal opinion, after becoming an engineer, of course, with honors and all that, there were very little that I could use in my career as a design and development person, then as a project person, and I later changed into a career in IT. I mean, very little of what I learned during my engineering I could use. But at the same time, the training I got, the way to think about things, to approach things, approach challenges, that was what kept me in good stead in whatever I had attempted in my life. So my feeling is that definitely skilling should be part, because ultimately you have to be employed. And everybody cannot become the CEO or MD or director of a company. So you have to go through the hierarchy. And even those who become the CEOs, they go through different levels or steps in the company. So what engineering education should impart to a student is to develop the capability for that person to take up challenges, new roles, and new avenues of doing things. Thank you.
Maybe partly will agree to him, because the quality of leadership is also for an engineer is very, very important, because we have seen from my own colleagues, a mechanical engineer by profession, my colleague, he has constructed the best seafood park in the Cheradana. So we have civil engineers, but I know the corporation trusted the mechanical engineer who has the adaptability, I would say the adaptability, the ability to learn ongoing. So what is it happening, what's a seafood park, and what are the components, how you should be designed. Because you are in, because that time the ILF and this was the project management associates. Unless you know what it is, then you can't talk to the PMC, what is actually doing. So it's an excellent park. We have invested 130 crores. It's ready for commissioning anytime Central Minister is expected for that. So it's basically it is that adaptability that happens, and then you can come up in the ladder and it can be But of course, when it comes to the when to the first job, when you get, that's where, because we are fresh. We have seen actually, I don't know, some of them are here. They have taken some interns. In fact, I asked those people are enrolled into this scheme also. The people with the MTech or the same. It's a very ridiculous low amount they are working for us. But they are taking us internship in KSIDC for 6 months also. That will really get to know what is happening. But I was sitting in the interview board. We interviewed around 255 graduates and postgraduates in engineering. As a finance man, I was trying to understand whether this person can really switch to KSIDC streams. That's other than that, I don't know much of the engineering itself, but I'm looking at whether this fellow, because I know what my organization is doing. We have industrial parks, we have industrial promotion activities, we have funding, we have startups. Whether this person can be fit into that, whether that's happening. So slowly they can learn it. But I understand that after that, whatever the iNCAETEK is now is offering, this is something you really skill the person to take up a bigger qualitative that kind of job, which the engineering skill, the design skills can really help. So along with that curriculum, with this kind of upskilling or high skilling, that is also required. But as he's a veteran, he knows in and out of that happened. So in the long run, our BC was saying that about many Indians now getting metaverse, all those things, because of that, all those spirit they really led. Maybe you are very senior level in TCS. I used to interact with business officer or regular. So we are sitting in the ISTD where I am in the Kochi chapter managing committee member. Yes, this is also the member. So we interact a lot of what is happening in the TCS and all. So these people are again that positions and respect, and because of that you learn a lot and then you become leaders in your own organization. So these are all required. That's humble beginning which we can start looking at our own brethren again from graduating from Kerala. They should also at some point of time should be able to reach that kind of positions. So there should be a perfect blend of your skilling, your experience, your leadership qualities. So everything has its own place.
Please, definitely.
Yeah. Good evening all. I am Kaushik Mohammed, basically a mechanical engineer and MBA. I have 30 years of experience in industry and now I am working in academia. Okay. Now the problem what you have seen is the syllabus, what the university has set up. Okay, it is not matching with the industry. So maybe for the last maybe 10 or 15 years we are asking the universities, different universities to change the syllabus. But now changes are happening. Now we have seen 3 subjects. I can tell you: the vibration or the propulsion and composite materials. These are the things, new subjects are added to the thing. Okay, the syllabus. And what I have seen is now from the industry people, people who have experience in the industry, when they come and teach these subjects, the results we have seen is very good. Now, for example, the propulsion and the vibration and the composite material examination, what we have seen in our college, around 80% people are passed in the subjects. Okay, whereas the same students, the other subject, they are only 40%, less than 40% only. So definitely an industry man, experienced man teaches. Definitely we can see the results. So Dr. Sajid was telling, why don't you send the faculty for 1 year for training the industry? Practically that's not possible. So we are conducting different types of faculty development programs in different colleges. But that is do not help. So instead, what I am suggesting is that if faculties, these industry experts, if they can come to colleges weekly once or twice and teach, definitely that will help the students. Now, even the new faculties, you can ask what they are teaching, where is the application, they don't know. Because that is why all the engineering students, they are wondering, hey, why I am learning here? As you are after telling, many of the things what you are learning in engineering is not applied anywhere. They are doing research. Because I worked in the research organization for 38 years. Okay. But when we are getting into an industry, okay, the seniors are there, they train us, and that cycle goes on. Whereas in an industry, that is not happening. Okay, so the only solution is that the industry people ask to get in touch with the colleges and train the students. Maybe one day subject. If they can train it, definitely we will see the result. Otherwise, no, I have seen the vacancy report I have seen, only 25% of the students coming out of the universities are employed. Others are not working in the engineering. They are not working. They are not working in the engineering field. Now again, NASCOM, I think there are around 3 million undergraduates coming out every year. Where they are working? They cannot get good jobs because they don't know where is the application. And so, if they don't know our application, they will not concentrate on the studies. But if they know, okay, the subject what I am studying, when I study, okay, this will have an application in this field, then they will concentrate on the studies and that will give us good fruits. So, my suggestion, this is only my suggestion. So I think the people are here. Okay, I wanted to tell this point when the Vice Chancellor was there and the Minister was there. The industry people, so because in some meeting I told this also, and there was a move in that direction. That industry people, they can select some industry people, and only 145 colleges in Kerala. Okay, we have got thousands of industry experts out there. Okay, Dr. Isaac is there. Okay, in IST, he is the professor, senior professor in IST, an engineering college run by ISRO. So there are the experts. So the industry people, if they come and teach, that will definitely. I have got the experience. That's what I'm telling. This is a clear experience which I can tell anywhere. Okay, thank you.
So to summarize, I would say that putting all the points, like one thing which I think which can come as a common solution, kind of a starting point for a solution, is that divide probably the students' capability skill-wise. For example, after so whatever is envisaged in the new education policy, like after 1 year you get a degree, second year you get another degree. So for example, who is more skilled than in actual vocational stuff rather than solving equations, they can actually go for a particular kind of diploma level actual hands-on stuff. Those who are much more good in maths and higher engineering stuff, they can go for masters and they can go for research. So this kind of stuff might give a better solution to this problem. That is my thought based on what all of you have suggested. So I think we'll. Yes.
I'm Korean accent. I teach in IST. I feel there are 3 points I would like to make as the following. At one time there were only less than 10 colleges in Kerala. And now there are 145. So if you expect all the students to be, I mean, a proportionate number of students to be good, that is not going to happen. So that is one point. Another point is that actually something which illuminates a student's tenure in a college is a very good project. So if he does a very good project, very often he is able to bring the knowledge that he has gained from various subjects into solving that, and he matures significantly. So that is one very important way that a person can mature. And the third thing is design thinking. That is something we don't really teach in colleges much. We have courses like machine design and things like that, where we don't get into the initial aspects of the problem. So something of the type which Gobi is doing is essential to bring that design thinking to students. So just these 3 points.
Thanks. Yeah. Any questions?
Myself, Rajeeve. So I'm into teaching robotics and artificial intelligence for the last 5 years. We have trained more than 25,000 students in the last 5 years. Basically, we could see lots of mechanical engineers coming and joining for the batches. There could be a possibility of around 25 to 40% of students. They come from mechanical background, but they want to get into this AI/ML. Okay, so my question is, like, they have actually wasted 4 years of their career, and they have spent lots of time, money, time, effort, and their parents' money, in fact, and they suddenly wanted to switch their career. So why this could be done at a much earlier stage before they wanted to come into this? So for that, is there like anything that could bridge the students to take their passionate, to finding out something like at a very early stage, and guiding them in like what's their passion, something like that. So how could this initiative that can help?
Probably one.
Robotics has got a lot
in common with mechanical engineering?
Yes, sir, I'm talking about AIML. AIML. So, it's like a simulation-based software where they use coding, Python, C++.
See, one suggestion what I have is like there are many people who drop out of college and start companies. We have seen so many examples. So a solution for this could be a legal dropout, something like that. I don't know whether it is possible. So maybe KTU and student in the academia can decide if there is some way for someone to drop out in between and join some other course. So if that is made legal, then that could be a solution.
So basically, the competency mapping. This is we according to our the system that initial whether somebody want to get into engineering or other stream, that competency mapping, nothing is happening. The parents always just that somebody says and then just go by that. So most of the time you will understand what is that competency or the taste, aptitude, all those things will come at only later. So maybe those people, those really wanted to get into that, but somebody has told them that you go join and then so definitely. But one thing, so that engineering degree with added on this, they will be in the best position than anyone not with an engineering graduate. So that will definitely. Please.
Admission system. I mean, you give first option, second option, third option. If you don't get the first option, whatever option is given to you, even up to the last option, you can mistake. I mean, that is our system of selection. How can you blame anybody for choosing mechanical or electrical when he gets it? I mean, our system of education is not at all after making a match between the aspirations and the capabilities and the seats available. No, I mean there are certain things, but I would say that having done his mechanical engineering, he has acquired certain things. That will help him. Yeah, that will definitely help him or her in her future career to learn anything new, anything which is out of the way.
In fact,
knowledge and attitude. Okay, that he is acquiring the 4 years. Yes. That only made him to go for this thing. They have got confidence. I can learn after this. For example, one of our civil engineer is now in second position in IBS. Yeah. IBS. Second civil engineer. IBS, it's all aircraft. Software. Managing a complete aircraft industry. Civil engineering.
And one factor is, I believe, this education has now become a business. Okay, so if you see an ad saying that an AML engineer will earn say 10 lakhs plus after a 6 months course, people will go for that because they know that if as a mechanical engineer, if I go to a manufacturing industry, I'm going to earn less than in 5 digits for initial few years. But the reality, okay, much of the mechanical or the core engineering people doesn't know is that, one example, if an AutoSAR engineer, mechanical engineer, having a knowledge of AutoSAR earns much more than somebody who knows AIML. But people doesn't know about it. So I think this exposure, the industry exposure is not among the students who are graduating in the core engineering areas, and all are driven by the fancy world of AIML, and which is relevant. In fact, even AIML learned mechanical engineers are very much needed in the self-driving car domain. But nobody wants to work there. They want to learn AML and go into the banking domain. So that's the irony that we have in the industry now.
And this is one thing. There are students coming from electronics and communication. So in electronics and communication, there are like 3 areas. One into the communication side, and one into the hardware, and other one into the software coding. So I think our this initiative, we should find out their area of interest in these areas also. Something that has to be incorporated along with our other plans. Finding out their area of interest. That's what the point that I wanted to add.
And one more point I'd like to add would be like, there is another side of it. I have one of my employees who is with me. Actually, he was part of the iNCAETEK training programs some 5 years back. So he's of course an exceptional case. He's basically a mechanical engineer. He does mechanical design, he does embedded PCB design, and he writes software. So that is another way of looking at it. It's multi-skilling a single person. It's not like you should do only mechanical. You can do anything. Nothing is stopping you.
They are interested in all the
yes.
all-rounders. But these students, when I interact, because we deliver 350 hours of AIML curriculum, we get a lot of time to interact with them. They say that, sir, mechanical, we are actually, we we do not want to get into the core, but we are fascinated by the, this upcoming, this AIML and that. We are just focusing only these things. We have picked so many interviews, that the college or, the other companies they had called, because we do not want to get into this core job of mechanical stuff, and so that is something that they hate, they do not want. So that case is different, and this is totally different. In our perspective, they do not want to get into that. So that is what I am just trying to get. So the platform has to enable an option where we need to find out their passion also.
Okay, so it was a great partnership and discussion. Thank you all.
Good evening, Anonal. Respected dignitaries on the dais, and off the dais. Actually, there is an unexpected delay what has happened. So the whole meeting got delayed. So I came prepared with a 2-pager note for giving a word of thanks. So I'm not taking much of your time because already we are delayed. So I'd like to thank all of you for your presence here, which is a lot for all of us. And today, actually, we all witnessed a great inauguration of the platform called dsynXPO by our Honorable Minister. So once again, I thank you for all your gracious presence. Thank you, and I conclude the meeting. So thank you, Honorable. Thank you very much.